Okay, hello everyone. My name's Clarke Towson. I'm the CEO of INTJ Billing. In this video, I'd like to talk a little bit about the terms, the language that's used on the Bitcoin Lightning Network. So payments via the Lightning Network can be made almost instantly. Now, since Lightning payments do not require confirmation on the blockchain, they can take place as quickly as an internet connection will allow, potentially allowing, well, not just potentially, allowing for millions of transactions per second. As long as channels can be found to process the desired size of payment, speed of transactions represents one of Lightning's major advantages. Lightning's speed allows Bitcoin-denominated transactions to be used for everyday purchases, such as for buying coffee. It also opens up avenues for new payment applications, such as streaming payments for online services. In order to set up a Lightning channel, two Bitcoin users need to fund a multi-signature address on the Bitcoin network. Once funds have arrived in this address, they can only be accessed with a signature, requiring both the user's private keys. Now, to transact on Lightning, users will need to run both a fully synced Bitcoin node and a Lightning node, which need to remain online for as long as their channel is open. To move your Bitcoin from Lightning back to the main chain, you need to close your channel, which will require another main chain transaction. And this means that engaging with the Lightning Network will always require at least two main chain transaction fees, one to on-ramp and one to off-ramp. A non-custodial wallet such as Breeze and custodial wallets such as Blue Wallet provide an easier but less trust-minimized option for using the network. Custodial Lightning wallets are very popular, but come with the usual trade-offs, including counterparty risk and lower privacy. The Lightning network is optimized for processing micro to small-sized transactions. Users send payments to each other by finding a pathway of Lightning channels through the network that connects the sender to the recipient. Now, some of those terms that I've used there as I've been talking, a lot of people aren't going to know what they are. Payment channels, in particular, peers, inbound liquidity, outbound liquidity, all this sort of stuff is where it gets confusing for the average everyday person. So I want to talk a little bit about some of these terms. So inbound liquidity. What is inbound liquidity? Inbound liquidity is what lets money flow on Lightning. You can see here's my Ride the Lightning server, Chili Calendar. And here you can see my inbound liquidity, total capacity, almost 21 million Satoshis. And here are all the nodes that I'm connected up to. Okay. So remember, inbound liquidity is what lets the money flow on Lightning. It's what lets payments move from sender to LSP to routing node to LSP to recipient. On Lightning, liquidity means inbound liquidity. Now, inbound liquidity is not your own balance. The inbound liquidity is the sum of the remote balance in each channel. Inbound liquidity, remote balance, belongs to the nodes that are connected to you. All right? So this inbound liquidity, it's not my balance. This balance belongs to the nodes that are connected to me. Okay? That are connected to my node, Chili Calendar. Now, some of this inbound liquidity I purchased from a service called Yours. That's where I've got the most inbound liquidity. And then these other nodes here I've connected to via lightning.network website where I've engaged in swaps. As an operator of your own online store, inbound liquidity is needed to receive Lightning payments. You need to ensure sufficient remote balance. So when you first set up a Lightning Network node, if you're using a Lightning Network wallet on your mobile phone and you're trying to send a Lightning Network payment and it's crapping out for some reason, it's not working, that will almost certainly be because you've got no inbound liquidity, and you really need to set up this inbound liquidity with different nodes on the network before you engage in any Lightning Network payments. I run my own BTC Pay server where I'm running Ride the Lightning through that server. Outbound liquidity. If you operate your own Lightning node, then outbound liquidity is required to send a Lightning payment. To receive a Lightning payment, as I was saying before, you need inbound liquidity. Outbound liquidity is the sum of the individual local balances in the respective channels. All right, so you can see here, outbound liquidity, I've got a total capacity of just over 10 million Satoshis. And you can see here, these are nodes on the network that I've connected up to, where I've opened channels to them, and you can see the channels under Lightning here, peers channels. You can see under here are all the peers that I've connected to, and I showed this in one of my first videos about Lightning. Okay, you can see them all here. You can see most of them are green, some of them are red, where they've disconnected for whatever reason, those particular nodes. Perhaps those nodes are down. And you can see here all the channels that I've got open. Okay. Let's talk a bit about privacy, Bitcoin Lightning privacy. Lightning Network provides users with a greater degree of privacy than on-chain transactions with Bitcoin, which can be observed in real time. Since Lightning payments are routed through a series of nodes, neither the recipient nor a relay node can know for certain where a transaction originated. Unlike on-chain payments, Lightning payments don't leave a permanent trace on an immutable blockchain, so a de-anonymizing attacker must be involved in forwarding the transaction. They cannot recover that information later. Now, the level of privacy Lightning typically provides is arguably sufficient for smaller, less sensitive consumer transactions. Nonetheless, a degree of monitoring is still possible with Lightning, since individual nodes can record the channel and direct information from transactions they are asked to process. While this method of surveillance has limitations, it still represents a privacy concern. However, neither Bitcoin or Lightning nodes use any real name identifiers, so it's still possible to maintain anonymity by protecting the link between your identity and the addresses that you control. I'm going to show you on my BTC Pay server a couple of transactions that were engaged in on the weekend via the Lightning Network. Prior to our Footscray community bar, I've set up a point of sale app for them, which works via the Lightning Network. And you can see here that a Classic Cosmo drink was purchased for $18. And $18 was sent via the Lightning Network to Pride Bar's store on my BTC Pay server. Here's all the details of the transaction. So you can see here I've got all those details. Now, I don't have a name for the buyer, but I do have a whole lot of other information. I know it's for Pride Bar's store, and I know it was a Classic Cosmo drink, and it was purchased for $18. And a tip was made, okay, an 18% tip, and that was the total amount, $21.24. So that $21.24 is the amount of money that I will pay out of the Pride Bar, out of the Pride Bar's wallet, back to Pride Bar. So they've got that money for that drink. So perhaps at the end of each month, we still need to create some procedures on how we're running things between INTJ billing and Pride Bar. So I'm working with Pride Bar's CEO to set up all those procedures. But you can see that's the sort of information that I receive as a person or as a company who's starting to provide these sorts of services. Security. Generally, users of Lightning must hold their keys online until the channel is closed. Lightning nodes also require ongoing monitoring and rolling backups. Although hacks are not known to have happened to date, when nodes are online, it is theoretically possible for attackers to steal sensitive information and even private keys. In addition, since multi-sig Bitcoin storage is not possible on Lightning, funds need to be controlled by a single key. This is not ideal for storing large amounts of Bitcoin or for institutions who may not want a single person to have sole access to their funds. And to me, this indicates it's still early days for Lightning, in particular for Lightning security. So, as I was saying, the Lightning Network allows for transactions to be secured by the Bitcoin network without being directly broadcast to it. Since users of a Lightning channel cosign every change in balance of the channel, either user can choose to broadcast a settlement transaction at any time. As long as both parties are constantly monitoring the channel state via their node or wallet service, this makes Lightning highly trust minimized, since neither of the channel's users need to trust each other in order to transact. Lightning Network provides an excellent means for making small transactions quickly and cheaply, where the very high levels of security provided by on-chain transactions is not required. Typically, this will be in applications such as retail and gaming. And I would say in the future in content creation as well, we're going to see Lightning used quite a lot. Okay, peers and channels. So remember, under Ride the Lightning, if we go to peers and channels, you can see all the peers that I've connected to. These are all nodes on the Bitcoin Lightning Network. So let's have a bit of a talk about identifying good peers on the Lightning Network. So whether you're using the Lightning Network to send or receive payments, or if you yourself are looking to run a rounding node, identifying good peers is crucial to using the Lightning Network. By connecting with good peers, you become a good peer yourself, allowing the network to grow without choke points or centralization worries. And this is not always easy. As the network grows and changes, the flow of money will inevitably change as payment demand evolves over time. Ultimately, there are many factors that might be used to identify good peers. Just a few would be: how well connected is the node? Is the node sufficiently capitalized? Does the node offer competitive fees for the service it provides? Has the node or the peer been stable and active for a long period of time? Would creating a new channel to the node be mutually beneficial? Okay, so looking through my Ride the Lightning interface here, you can see the node names that I've connected to: LNBIG, Lightning.store, El Capitan.nodl, Bitfill rounding. So all these node names, right? Question is, well, how useful are they? Okay. How useful are they? Where can you go to determine how useful they are? Now, there are websites that you can go to determine how useful they are. So you can go to Amboss, you can go to lnrouter.app, and you can look up a whole lot of metrics about nodes and see where they're connected to, and a whole lot of details about nodes, right? You can look at their channel capacity. Let's say this is my node here. You can see my biggest inbound channel is open to yours. But if you have a look through here, here are all the channels that I've connected to, and here's some of that information. So how well am I connected? Well, I've got 25 nodes that I'm connected to. And have a look at these nodes in terms of the capacity that they've got, in terms of how much Bitcoin capacity they've got. How old are those nodes? Okay, so you can see this one here. You go all the way down the list, you can see how old they are. Although this age indicator here, I'm not sure if that's completely accurate, because these services are a whole lot older than that. But there are various other websites out there, and I have on my Lightning Network page provided links to a whole lot of these services to check out details about nodes. So you can go to 1ml.com, Amboss, LN Channels, mempool.space, Terminal Web, Cheese Robot, Lightning Network, Lightning Node Match. So Lightning Node Match and LN Router, they're both very good sites. So this server here searches the network for public nodes that give you the best additional reach with respect to your already existing channels. Okay. Now, you can type in your node's public key. So if I go to public key and copy my node's public key, and I go over here and I paste that in there, I can do a search for potential peers on the Lightning Network, and this will return nodes on the network that are well suited for me to connect to increase the level of connectedness of my node. Okay, so this takes a bit of time to come up and to work, but there's this site and there's, as I said, LN router. Okay. So a good peer is well connected to the network, and that means they themselves have channels with other good peers, and so it goes. As such, the total channel count is much less important than the channel count to good peers. Opening a channel with a well-connected peer increases your chance of being able to successfully route payments in the Lightning Network. Now, so here you go here. So it's done an analysis of my node, Chili Calendar. Here's my node's public key and here is my IP address, and here is the port that my Bitcoin Lightning server is running on. You can see here it's got best potential matches for my node ranked and in order. So you can see that this first node here, Zion Trinity, be a good one to connect to. Game B2_2 Milky Way. Now you can look up a whole lot of details about these nodes on 1ml.com. Okay, so I could go across to 1ml.com, and what I could do, I could take the first node. Okay, so take the public key of the first node, and then on 1ml I could paste that in there, hit return, and there we go. There's that node, Zion Trinity. So you can see the capacity of the node, the channel count, so how many other nodes is it connected to that it's got open payment channels with. This is IP address and port. Is the public key QR code. The public key, public key is here, and public key at the node's IP address and port number. Okay, and then there's got some details here: capacity ranking, channel count ranking, and so on, and showing a whole lot of the nodes that it's connected up to. So a number of sites that you can go to find out a whole lot of detailed information about nodes. Node capitalization. A good peer is well capitalized, meaning its channels have sufficient capacity to fulfill your payment needs. Generally, fewer channels with higher capacity will increase your routing chances over more channels with lower capacities. So you can see mine, my biggest payment channel that I've opened, which I just opened today, is with IBEX, and that is a payment processor over in that's servicing El Salvador. I'm very interested in seeing the Bitcoin Lightning Network succeed in El Salvador and worldwide, and I wanted to be a part of that. So I've put down $4,000 and into my node, deposited that money onto my node, and I've opened a 5 million Satoshi payment channel with IBEX. So they're onboarding, hundreds and hundreds of merchants and people within El Salvador in order to accept Bitcoin payments. So node capitalization. So your own node's capitalization depends on your personal needs. If you primarily use the Lightning Network to make payments, your node needs to be sufficiently capitalized for these payments. This capital should be in channels to good and stable peers. To receive payments over the Lightning Network, your node does not need to carry much of its own capital. It does, however, need to have enough inbound liquidity to receive payments from the network. And that's what I was talking about before in terms of inbound liquidity. Here we go here are all the numbers. You can see that I've got plenty of inbound liquidity or capacity, almost 21 million Satoshis. So the overall capacity of a node is easy to assess. The quality of that capacity, however, is not. It's also not easy to tell whether this capital is held in the form of ingoing or outgoing capacity. Now you can see that my ingoing and outgoing capacity very easily here, but that's not so easy to determine on other nodes. Go over the fees function for now. Node stability. A peer stability is important. Is an important piece of information. What makes them a good peer? This is measured by their uptime, but also includes measurements like the age of their channels. A node with high uptime and old channels makes a stable peer. Older channels are likely channels that have proven to be profitable for the operator and are worth the capital it took to create them. Older channels signal that other channels too will be around for a while, saving their peers on on-chain fees and providing them with a source of reliable routing income. So node stability is important, right? Now, my node, for instance, is connected to a UPS, and I've also got a Tesla Powerwall powering the house as well. Now, there have been a number of brownouts, and I'm here in Melbourne, Australia, and we've had some disconnections issues with the electricity, and my UPS has kicked in, and my systems were stable, other than one day about 6 months ago when the power company had to do some work, and the power was down for a relatively significant amount of time. I think it was down for about 4 or 5 hours in total. So that would have been a problem, but I wasn't running this node at that time. I was running other servers though, which I had to shut everything down. Okay, routing needs. So a good peer will have a need for you to peer with them. This could be because they route payments themselves. In this case, two nodes that have a well-capitalized active channel to each other will make for worse peers than two nodes that are not connected directly. This, however, could be a new node with a few channels that has a need for inbound capacity. By peering with such a node, for example, a merchant, you might be able to reliably earn routing fees to this peer, despite this node not appearing on list of good peers. Okay, so routing under Ride the Lightning Network is under the routing tab. And you can see here there's a whole lot of all the in channels and out channels here, the amount in sats in and out, and the fee per stat. So there's a lot of information that you can gain from the routing tab. This is for forwarding history, routing peers, and failed transactions. Okay. So a good peer will also have important features enabled that will make maintaining your channels easier. This might include payment addresses, multipath payments, or Wombo channels. So monitoring your peers and channels. Once you've found good peers, you'll need to monitor these connections and make judgments for which channels to keep and which to close. Frequently opening and closing channels might make you a poor peer in the eyes of some, but closing inactive channels or channels with unreliable peers might be important to be known as a reliable router, and generally contributes to efficient capital allocation. Some nodes might want to open private channels with you for the purpose of making payments. Such peers may generate stable income through routing fees, but as they make payments through you, your incoming capacity with these peers will shrink, binding your capital in a node that cannot route and may be offline most of the time. If these private peers have a way of regularly refilling their channels, they can make for a good peer, even if you aren't able to route payments through them. Now, this document that I've just been through, some of this text, well, a lot of this text was taken from these two sources. So there was a blog on liquid.net and another on lightning.engineering. So that's where I've taken quite a bit of that information from. So there was one other thing I wanted to show you. So from the command line, so I'm logged onto my BTC Pay server here at the moment. Ulysses is the host name. And what I've done, I've created this script called get Node Aliases.sh. And what this does, it will in real time return the node aliases of all the nodes that I'm connected to, along with their node ID. So I've actually had to, and it shows how early out we are with Lightning, right? So I've created this script myself, modifying an existing script. So you can see how I'm running the Bitcoin-Lightning-CLI.sh script. That's a bash script. I'm getting a list of the incoming nodes, and I'm piping that through grep, searching for the node's ID or public key. Okay, then passing it again through grep for short channel ID, then passing it through sed, twice, putting it into a temp file called connectednodes.txt. And what I'm doing, I'm reading that text file into an array, and then I'm looping through the array, and I'm running Bitcoin Lightning-CLI.sh bash script, giving it the list nodes argument, and then I'm piping that through grep, and I'm passing into grep the values from the array. So they're the values from connectednodes.txt, which is all the public keys of the nodes. So this Bitcoin-Lightning-CLI.sh script didn't have a convenient way to just return node aliases. So I've gone through and made my own script for that purpose, and I'll be going through and creating other scripts as well. And I've been working in IT a long time, 22 years, former high performance computing system administrator. In supercomputing, I actually did a lot of scripting, created a lot of script because it was such early days, because there were things that I wanted in terms of additional functionality that hadn't yet been created. Now, this is the case with all new technologies, where there's a lot of people around the world that are in different time zones, disparate groups of people, intelligent groups of people who are contributing to open source movements, but it hasn't yet reached a stage where they've thought of everything, right? In terms of the maturity of everything, it's not at that stage as yet. Working in HPC, working on the cutting edge of technology, there were many times when I'd come up against these sorts of issues where we would have new things that we were working towards that we had to create new scripts for. So there are a number of commands within this directory, and the actual file name, if we do an ls on this directory here, this is the one. All right, get a help. So this is the command that you want to be running to return a whole lot of details about your Bitcoin Lightning node. So there's a lot of commands that you can issue to this script, and they're all well laid out here. And this will return a whole lot of the information that you essentially see within your Ride the Lightning instance. Okay, so this information is useful. For instance, I've provided this Lightning Network page on my website, intjbilling.com, and if we wanted to, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be rewriting this parts of this web page, and I've done a lot of the coding. I just haven't put it all into the one page yet. But I'm going to create a PHP page that all these details will be dynamic. So, and it'll be returned via this program, Bitcoin-Lightning-CLI.sh. So there's a lot of stuff on this page, and in particular here and not here. So you can see here Lightning Network nodes. I'm connected to 20 nodes. Instead of just copy pasting that data from here, I will run that script via PHP. Although I might have to figure out a little bit of a different way to do it, because I want this page to load quickly, and it does take some time to run this query, passing the node public keys to that script in order to get the node aliases, right? Yeah, so that's it. That's pretty much all I wanted to discuss in this video. I really think that, and after Friday night, I feel even more strongly about this. I met up with my business partner on Friday night and we had a bit of a discussion. I gave him a demonstration of Ride the Lightning via my iPad. Now, he's not a technical person, and I showed it all to him, and he was completely lost. And I explained all these terms to him, and he said, "Well, the user interface here for Ride the Lightning, he didn't understand any of it." And I said, "Look, I was the same when I first looked at it, but rest assured, it is very logically laid out. Once you go through the process of setting up your own Lightning Network node and you've worked with it for a while, I've been at this for about 12 days now, something like that. Full on days as well, very long hour days, wrapping my head around all of this. But of course, I've come to it from the perspective as a high performance computing specialist. So this stuff wasn't altogether that difficult for me to get my head around, although I won't say that it was easy. But for someone like my business partner, he's got no hope of understanding any of this. So I explained this to him by using analogies with PayPal. Okay, I said, we need to get this to the stage where, and this will happen in time as the Bitcoin Lightning Network matures and scales to the entire world. Companies will come in and all this stuff will essentially sit, think of it as like the lower level plumbing, right? This will be abstracted away where other companies will create interfaces to make it very simple and easy to understand for business people and for people who are used to dealing or used to being merchants and dealing with companies like PayPal, creating merchant accounts and so forth. And a lot of these terms that we use in Bitcoin and the Bitcoin Lightning Network, these sorts of people won't need to know, won't need to understand. Think of it, I guess you can think of it like the protocol is TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol / Internet Protocol. And there's the other protocols out there, HTTP, DNS, SMTP for mail, and so on. Those protocols, we interact with them every day, yet we don't need to understand how they work. We don't even need to understand a whole lot of the terms that they use because their complexity has been abstracted away by higher level programs, mail clients, web browsers, with DNS. We've got companies out there like domain companies like GoDaddy and the like that make it very easy to interact with that or with those protocols. And it's going to be exactly the same here with the Lightning Network. So very early days, very exciting days to be involved with this technology at such an exciting time where there is not a huge number of nodes on the network, okay, where it is growing. It is growing quickly, and you can see here this statistics page on Lightning Network Plus, where the number of channels in October 29th, 32,248, and November 27th, 38,000. So you can see, right, 32,000, 38, 6,000 channels already in the space of less than a month, right? So it is growing very quickly. And there's other pages out there where you can get statistics as well, like 1ml.com. You can see the percentage change in the number of nodes. But I mean, think about it. 31,080 Lightning Network nodes total. Now there are more nodes than that. Don't take this as a authoritative, absolutely accurate report. There would be more nodes than that. However, that is a tiny number when you think of where this is going, okay? Where the internet went over time. If I do a quick Google search on number of internet sites, 1.7 billion websites exist, right? Now, over time, right, this has increased substantially, okay? So when I first got on the internet, it was 1993. Right? So here I was, 1993 and 1994. This is when I was getting onto the internet and when I was first playing around with the internet. And you can see the number of websites has just exploded, right? Exploded. So the number of nodes on the network, on the Lightning Network, is also going to explode over time at an exponential rate. Getting in now on the ground floor using this exciting technology, it's very, very cool, right? It's very cool. Now, I'm not saying you're going to come in and you're going to make a fortune running your own Lightning Network node. In fact, it's almost certain that you're not going to make a whole lot of money. However, you might be thinking about running other services on the Lightning Network or utilizing the services of the Lightning Network to provide higher value add products and services in the business that you have. That's certainly what I'm going to be doing, that I've started doing already. Okay. And such as my work with Pride Bar, which is an app that runs on my BTC Pay server. Okay. Here's the app. And, I'm providing this functionality so people can buy and pay for drinks at the bar. Okay. And then I'm doing a deal with the CEO and with Pride Bar. I'm a shareholder in Pride Bar as well. And we're going to discuss what fees are appropriate. Okay. And we can negotiate those fees. Unlike a bank or a payment company, they're not going to negotiate fees with you. So there's a whole lot of stuff that you can be doing with the Lightning Network. It's very, very exciting times. But in this video, I just wanted to go over some of those terms, some of that language used. So we've discussed inbound and outbound liquidity, and discussed a bit about security and peers and channels, node connectedness, capitalization, some statistics about nodes, where to get them, the importance of node stability, routing needs, monitoring your peers and channels. So that's it from me today. All the best, everyone. I'm Clarke Towson, CEO of INTJ Billing. Please, if you're looking to get into the Lightning Network, if you're a business person that is interested in setting up payments for your company, give me a call or go to my website here, go to my Lightning Network page under Bitcoin Lightning Network. Send me a message and I'll give you a call back and I'll give you a hand. All right, all the best, everyone.